Welcome to Midlife Matters. I'm Marie, and each week I'm joined by my friends Julie and Mindy to talk about all the topics keeping women in the middle years up at night. Today we're talking about spring. Join us as we share all the things we're doing to make this new season feel fresh and fun. Let's get started. Listeners, today we're talking about spring. And I think that over the course of the years that we've been doing this, I think we've done a spring episode just about every year. Don't you think so, Julie and Mindy?
Yeah, I think we like all the holiday episodes.
Yeah.
It seems, and especially
Seasonal.
spring.
Yeah.
We all get very excited for spring. So,
And it seems like listeners usually respond well to our seasonal episodes. But this year we just kind of thought, what different direction could we go with spring? So we always talk about spring with all its beauty and its inspiration, and we love, the new growth and the life and the fresh start. But our little twist on it this year is that we're going to talk about, in reality, spring is also messy and muddy. It's a time of unpredictable weather, a time of cleaning out, weeding, and pruning. I know when I've been looking around my yard, I see, oh, I thought I cleaned up all those dead leaves in the fall, or, oh, I thought I trimmed all that back. Like there's a lot of just pruning and weeding out and cleaning up to do even in spring.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
also a great time to look around and take inventory, make decisions about your year or about your life. And some things in our lives, maybe they just need a little more sunshine and water, but some things we might just want to think about getting rid of. So we're just going to kind of use the metaphor of maybe gardening and spring to talk about midlife. It doesn't always look pretty in the spring, but we feel like midlife also has times that we need to prune and clear out, and we want it to feel fresh and new.
Well, and I think all the things about spring, about it being beautiful, are still true. But I think there's just more to it than that. Like sometimes things look kind of rough and ugly before they look beautiful. And that's really
Right.
true in spring. Like right now, we're kind of in the just before the beautiful part. And I think it's
Right.
good to acknowledge that things aren't always beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
but they might be getting there, might be just around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And we have a couple of trees that are kind of new to our yard that we've put on notice, that we've kind of talked to them and said, if you don't come back this year in a good way, you're gone. So we've given a couple of things notice
You get one more chance to wow us.
and we're keeping an eye out.
And you're probably quite a bit ahead of us as far as
Yes.
blooming and trees coming out.
I don't know if I want to tell you this
no.
is coming, but pollen has started in a bad way.
Really?
Just about, let's see, last Saturday. So several days ago, we started with pollen coming, and so we've got eye drops and Zyrtec,
Oh, goodness.
and we've got not summer, but spring storms already.
Yeah.
This morning, like we even had some tornado warnings going off, and school was delayed by 2 hours. So
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
I never know.
Yeah. Your spring is already unpredictable.
Yes.
Some things in life need nurturing, and some things maybe just get thrown out on the compost pile to keep the gardening analogy going. And I think as women, as moms, we might need to recognize that we're kind of, at least this is true of me, like we're conditioned to just always revive everything. Like
Mm.
everything must keep going. Everything must continue the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Just think about all the like even traditions, roles,
Mm.
our identities. There's a lot of changes going on, and sometimes we want to just keep everything the same. And why do we want to revive everything? Where does that come from? For me, I'd written down like habit, loyalty, martyrdom.
Mm.
Like I'm a loyal person, so I'm even loyal to things I do. I have a hard time breaking up with like a hairdresser or a dry cleaners.
Mm. Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
like I just want to keep it going. And habits too. Like you just get into habits. Traditions are just habits, and I just hate to let things go. And I think I said martyrdom because we've taken care of people for so long,
Mm.
and we're kind of everything to everyone,
Mhm.
and we kind of feel like we're indispensable, but maybe,
Mhm.
maybe we're not so important anymore in that role.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I think that's a pretty common struggle, at least with me. But I think women share that struggle.
Mhm.
I was gonna say, I don't know if, I don't know why. I feel like I'm broken in this way a little bit, but I feel like I'm the opposite in that I don't know, I've been conditioned to let go too fast.
Mm,
Mm.
And so it's actually a lesson for me to hold on, to give something time, to nurture something. But I feel like I've just had to say goodbye a lot. And I just feel like even in this season, like we're nurturing our child through the end stages of childhood and on to graduation and, flying the nest. But I just feel like having watched 3 kids fly the nest and begin to thrive and kind of come back in such a beautiful way, I'm just like, no, like the journey of life continues. Like I hear the
Mhm.
circle of life and Mufasa and I see all that like no, it's the circle of life. Like it's not done. It's
Mhm.
continuing. Like
yeah,
it's different and changed, but it's not done.
Mhm.
yeah.
So don't let go.
Well, is there something that you feel like you need to nurture or something that you feel like you're throwing away in this season? Here's kind of a silly one. So we just when we're recording this, it's spring break week for unusually, this never happened when my kids were in college, but for the local school district and college, a lot of colleges. So if I still had kids at home and in college, for the very first time, we could have all actually taken a family spring break trip instead of
Wow.
usually taking just the kids that were still in regular public school. But anyways, I have not taken a spring break trip now. This is the second year in a row that we haven't. And I really am okay with letting that go. But then I also have thought, oh, should I be okay with having let that go? Or should I feel sadder about that? And then maybe for a minute I do feel sad. But then I think, no, we had a lot of awesome spring break trips. Like I felt like we went to just about every area of the country, East and West Coast, down to the very tip of Florida. Like we have been everywhere on spring break. And most of the time, we've tried to find places that are warm enough to actually feel like the kids had a spring break, because they don't
Mhm.
necessarily want to be cold on spring break. And it got to be kind of a lot every year because spring break, like this year, is the first week in March. That's not the most ideal time in the United States to try to find warm weather.
Right.
But this year I was feeling a little nostalgic. I still don't know that I want to go away spring break week. And March is not my preferred month to travel. But I guess maybe what it brought to mind is that I still, even if I throw spring break out, I still want to be nurturing family vacations. And so if spring break is not the time, then what's another good time? Like it kind of, maybe I don't miss the actual travel of March, but I do miss a family vacation. So maybe think
Mm.
about how I can make that happen, not necessarily in March, but another time.
It is hard in March to find anywhere warm enough to go unless you're taking almost like a winter trip, like a ski trip.
Mhm.
Right.
So we never did spring breaks, but we did other times. But yeah, you're right. I think it's good to nurture that family time together. And
Mhm.
John always wanted to, provide a family trip because he said that's a surefire way to get everybody together. And so
Yeah.
I want to continue that.
Yeah.
And I think this year we're going to do a staycation. And I remember you did that last year, Mindy.
Yes.
Because we had the beach as an option, but I had other trips going on this year, and I thought, no, let's just, because I kind of have to trade off beach or have my grandkids here, and I really would
Oh,
like them here.
Mhm.
So
right.
we decided on a staycation. So and really, it'll be great because of the goal is to be together.
Mhm.
So
Right.
and do fun Nashville things that I don't always do
I
without
know.
kids or without
You
everybody.
you have so much at your fingertips, and it's
Hmm.
amazing how fun a staycation can be. So, maybe we should do an episode on how to plan one. I don't know. I think
Yeah,
that would be a
yeah.
lot of fun.
Yeah, you probably
But
have a lot of good tips on that one.
it was great even being in LaGrange and it's not that big, like, if you know, kind of look around your area. Anyways, we could get off on that so fast, but
Mhm.
but yeah, there's a lot of creativity and fun to be had for that.
Yeah. I just thought about some things are obviously worth nurturing. Obviously, marriage. I think anytime we're in a new stage of life, obviously I'm not married anymore, but I have past experience with this. But I don't know, with big changes it seems like it always affects your marriage.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I think it's just wise to accept that and be proactive and expect you to have to do a little work whenever there's a change. But
Right.
that's definitely something worth nurturing. For me, creative interests are always worth nurturing. I realize I sometimes I have to let things go in order to make room for new ones because I everything can't be blooming at once.
That's true.
Some things have to die in
Great
order for other
point.
things to bloom.
Right.
And so, yeah, I've kind of right now it's like I'm not watercoloring. I'm sewing and drawing. Those are my
Mhm.
focuses now. So, and yet, just because you put something away doesn't mean it's away forever. It can come back.
Mhm.
Another thing worth nurturing is my health. Usually after winter, I've developed some bad habits. They've crept in. I don't like to get out and exercise because of the weather, but as soon as spring comes, just that warmth of the sunshine on your shoulders and longer daylight, then I'm instantly remotivated.
Mhm.
So those
I
are
can
things that I think are worth nurturing.
Mhm.
I definitely had health down because my health has been I don't know what to call it. It's been on the spin cycle in the washing machine for a couple of months. I feel like I'm not really sure
Yeah.
what's going on. Like I felt like I had everything down pat and I had a routine and I had a system and then, one little health thing and it's like a wrench gets thrown in. And I just have talked to so many people that this has happened. And so I'm mentioning this because not all is lost.
Mhm.
Like, I have some things that I need to let go of for right now, but that means I have an ability have an opportunity to learn new things.
Mhm.
Great spin, Mindy.
Sounds so fun. I know. I'm still making this sound good in my own mind, can you tell? I have an opportunity, and I really am trying to learn. I'm trying to, practice some new stretches, and I'm trying to really be proud of myself with progress, which we have talked about this before, but it's really difficult. It's difficult to not focus on what you can't do and focus on, "Oh, look, today was better than yesterday," or
Mhm,
"This week was better than last week." And so I'm just in that mode right now of, you know, this week is better than a month ago, and I'm excited. I was able to go for a gratitude walk,
Mm.
and, like, it's amazing how short-lived the victory feels, and I should focus on it
yeah,
longer because the next day I feel like I should be able to go 2 miles, and then I can't, and I'm like,
yeah.
"Okay, focus on the gratitude."
Yeah.
And so there's just celebration that needs to be had as things come to life, and so nurturing that, it takes time. I mean, it takes active time, and just as flowers don't come through the surface of the soil and bloom all in one day, neither do things that we nurture in our life. So I'm
Mhm.
celebrating progress and I'm looking for how to bring something to life that has had to change.
Mhm.
Yeah, some things have to get rooted first, and that's what you're doing. You're rooting those truths in your life,
Yeah.
um, that you stand on and believe, and then they'll bear
Yeah.
fruit at some point. And I mean, even today, but more
Mhm.
and more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, what are some signs that something belongs in the compost? Like maybe we don't need to try to nurture it anymore. My biggest sign probably is that I start dreading something
Mm,
and I don't want to pick it up. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to think about it. I try to ignore it. I dread it. I hope it gets canceled. I hope, I just
yeah. I hope it's canceled.
dread is kind of a clue that I'm not maybe supposed to be doing this
That's a
activity
good sign.
or,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. And I actually had something like that a couple weeks ago. And I think sometimes I think, well, this is a really good thing, so I need to keep doing it even if it's not working for me. So last year I responded to an invitation to volunteer at something where I even had to get a background check. And I think on this podcast, Julie was like, "Good for you, Marie," and all this stuff. And so this is why I hate to tell anybody I'm ever volunteering at anything, because then when I stop volunteering, people still ask me, or whatever happened with that. It's like, well, so anyways, it is a really, really good ministry. Like, I love the idea of it. I think it's totally needed. I know people that have been so positively affected by it. I know people who have positively participated in it and loved it. And probably because I know all that, I wanted to volunteer with it also. But it just was not working for me. It did not work with who I am. It was not hands-on, face-to-face contact. And I like to see and talk to people. And then also it had this technical aspect with this computer program that I guess I could have, I'm sure I could have learned it if I worked with it every day, but only having to work with it very sporadically, every time I had to pull it up on my computer and try to make a change, I had to call someone and then they would walk me through it. And then I would say, okay, I'll try to remember that for next time, fully knowing there is no way in the world I'm going to remember this for next time. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, the whys behind what I'm doing don't make sense. So I'm not going to be able to remember them. And I knew I wasn't doing an awesome job. I was doing like the bare minimum. And mostly because this one person was helping me out so much. And I finally thought, you know what? Since I volunteered with that, I've taken on some other volunteer roles that actually work with my skill set a lot more. They're like face-to-face, they're talking with people, they're meeting with people, they are hands-on. And this one, every time I think about it, I get this pit in my stomach. I feel dread. I know I'm not doing a good job, so I feel like I'm letting people down. And yet I don't really know what doing a good job would look like. And even if I did know what it looked like, I can't make that computer program do it for me. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to reach out and I'm going to say, I am thinking that I might not, be able to continue in this role. And then since I volunteered with this, I took on some other things that I think fit my skill set a little bit better. And the woman was so gracious and was like, you know what? Those are also things that are needed and they take up time. And if you don't have time for all three things, that's totally fine. Thanks for letting me know, because I was about to increase your workload on this, but now I won't. And I was so glad that I had said something then. And the person that's going to take over for me is the one that was so helpful to me. And she's a natural. She's a complete natural. It flows off her. So anyways, I feel totally confident in what she's going to be doing. I feel such a sense of relief that this is not on my shoulders and I am not letting people down. And I am free to focus on things that I am better at. So anyways, I guess just dread and like just the feeling that I'm failing is a big indicator that I should not be doing this anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think that's good to check our motivations. That's one of the things I put down was a sign that something belongs in the compost pile for me is like if it's an obligation that's kind of feeling rooted in guilt.
Oh, yeah.
And actually on that same episode, Maria, I think I said that I was going to start volunteering at the Vanderbilt clinic,
You
know,
did,
as a
Julie.
pharmacist.
And I've never asked you about it because you never mentioned it and I didn't want to
Well,
put you on the spot.
that has since hit the compost pile. My stomach churned before I would go. And, that could have just been something that would have been relieved with time. But I just, like, the woman that was in charge of it knew everything. She kept telling me I would know everything really quickly. And I was like, oh, I don't believe you. And she was so comfortable and she really was a wealth of knowledge. And I was like, gosh, these people would be missing her if it was just me. Like, I loved working with her alongside her because she could help me and encourage, but I just could never get to the point where I felt comfortable being there alone. I mean, as it, and not just that I didn't have anybody to ask. I mean, all these people were coming to me to ask me things, And so I thought, okay, why do I not want to give this up? Like, obviously I'm not having fun, but, it was a good thing. Someone had
Mhm.
recommended me. Someone had said I'd be great at it, and I'm
Mhm.
not a quitter, like
Mhm.
Right.
but that was something that needed to go because and for
Mm.
me, it was kind of it felt I felt obligated, and I
Mm.
Yeah.
felt and there was
Mhm.
a lot of guilt there for quitting and not using my pharmacy license and not all of
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
But, and then I've since picked up other things that I feel comfortable in and, not on that scale, but, like, I am doing things other places.
Mhm.
So, was it wasted? No, Marie, we probably learned more about ourselves,
Mhm.
by doing that, and,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Well, one thing, Julie, that I think I may do in the future, because I was talking this week with somebody who feels led to volunteer she knows there's a volunteer need. She doesn't feel like she would wanna do it, but she doesn't wanna rule it out because there is a need, but she feels like if she volunteered and then quit, that would be worse. And somebody else in the conversation suggested something so simple. Why I never thought of it, I don't know. This is what I probably should have done from the beginning. Why don't you ask to shadow that person for a few weeks?
Mhm.
Okay, now there's no commitment.
Mhm.
You're shadowing. You get to find out. I think so many times, like, we volunteer on the basis of the description of the work. And then when we actually get into it, it's like, oh, this doesn't really match up with me. But now I've volunteered and I'm not a quitter. I've got to see it through
Yeah.
to the end. Where if we had shadowed, a few times, we could probably pretty quickly get an idea of, is this something that I could foresee myself getting good at?
Yeah, and because you're on board with the overarching ministry, of course. It's just that
Yes.
job is not a good fit.
Right.
Mhm.
Um,
Wow, what a
so
great idea though, to kinda test it out without the huge commitment.
Yes, before they've onboarded
'Cause you
you
don't
and
yeah,
announced everyone that you have the job, maybe
yeah.
shadow a little
Before
bit.
it's
yeah,
public, before they've spent any kind of time on you, because I know if somebody spends time on me, I feel like
yes,
I owe them something, so
mhm,
you feel
Yes.
obligated.
yeah, yeah,
All right, Mindy, what is a clue to you in your life when you need to get rid of something?
Gosh, when the door just keeps closing, and I
Oh,
long
okay.
for it to open, like, it could be a really good thing, and I feel like I've had a really good thing, like my
mhm,
work at the gym, the door has closed, I can't do it right now, and it's I'm trying to find a way back in that maybe it's changed or different, but I have had to accept that the door is closed for right now, and it's been highly uncomfortable to be able
Mm.
to release it, I guess,
Mhm.
from
Mhm.
something that I love, and it's just not the time. So it doesn't mean it's always done, but, like, that door, my body is just like, "No,
Mm.
that's not
Mhm.
something you're gonna do right now." But I am celebrating, so I mentioned that I was able to go for a gratitude walk. I'm able to serve again at the pregnancy center, which you guys know is something that I am passionate about and that I absolutely love. I'm so ready to think about somebody other than myself. And so, whereas a door closed on part of something I love, it's still open on another thing that I love. And so I'm just really thankful for that because it gives me time and attention to really focus on it.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I would just say closed doors.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and I think the thing about getting rid of something in our life is it does open up space, maybe for you to do something different, for a new relationship, for peace, for better health. Like, there are things that it can allow room for because
Mhm.
we only have so much
mhm,
disposable time. And so if something is not working and it's, the pit the night before or
Right.
constant closed door or dread,
Yeah.
well, maybe that space would be better freed up doing something that doesn't have those reactions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another thing I thought about as a sign, I can't really think of anything right now, but an actual example, but another sign that something is it's time for it to go is maybe resentment. Like
Mhm.
maybe you resent the role or the work you have to put into it for whatever reason. Also,
Yeah.
maybe old identities, like it's not
Mm,
serving you anymore. And I hate it when people say that about people. I do not mean it in that sense. I was thinking
Mhm.
specifically about things like I knew it was time to leave my house behind, our old house. Not long after John got sick, and my love for that house didn't change, and all the wonderful memories didn't change, but I knew it wasn't gonna serve me well anymore as a single person. Too much yard, too big, lots of memories, and I was really isolated there. So, kind of
Mhm.
reasoning through that decision helped make the emotional part much easier, that was from a different part of my life, and it was time to change that.
mhm,
Um And I even thought about this because, in the spring, you think a lot about decluttering,
Mm.
that, like, decluttering tangible items can kinda get you started, like, okay, then you can move
Mhm.
to more metaphorical things, but I think I even keep clothes, we've talked about this for nostalgic reasons, because they kinda remind me of, like,
Mm. Mhm.
good seasons of life or when my body looked good in that. And maybe it doesn't anymore. Like, when now I'm having unrealistic expectations of what I'm going to look like in this. So, I don't know. I think that's kind of an old identity thing that makes you want to hang on to
Mhm.
something that maybe it's just time to
mhm,
move on.
All right, let's talk a little bit about transitions in midlife because spring is also a transitional season. Like just this week, we are having 70s, and on Monday, we're going to be back in the 30s. Like it's up and down, and you're moving two steps forward and one step back. It's a tradition from the dark and cold of winter
mhm,
to the consistent hot and sunny of summer, and it's all over the place. And I think spring in particular can be kind of a big transition time for midlife women, mostly because of the school calendar. Mindy, I know you're going through a big transition right now.
Yes, I can't tell you guys what happened in my brain when March hit, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, he graduates in May." Like, that's tomorrow.
Mhm.
And I felt like all of the sudden it was time that I needed to, hurry up and get his senior pictures taken. Because then that leads to graduation announcements. We're starting to talk to family about travel arrangements and plans and who's staying where and when. We're talking college orientation. Oh, yeah. Have you talked to any roommate options yet? How is that going? Summer
Mhm.
plans, jobs, things like that. So we're trying to finish the season well, and we have so many activities. I feel like every day there's a new senior activity, and I remember this about senior year. Um,
Mhm.
and so yeah, it's like March hit, and I just felt like I was immediately behind, and like this wave of things was coming. So just big transition there. And it's the last. And so, Bryce and I are looking at each other and we're like, wow, things are really going to be different come August,
Mhm.
and we're excited and also like, what's that going to be like?
Mhm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then you could have, and like Marie, I think you have this, you might be graduating one, launching one, but then another one could come home, or they come home from the summer. Like you've got
Mhm.
this flux in your house. So
Yeah,
it's kind of like the 75-degree day, and then next week it'll be in
it
the
is.
20s. Like you have to be prepared for all kinds of situations.
All of it.
And you might have an aging parent live with you. Like it could be a lot of different things. Like I have one kid who's returned home and I have my mom here. And I mean, that's great, but it's just like you just you just have to be prepared for a lot of different things. Something else that feels a little muddy or messy right now in my life is that I feel very restless. And I think it's because after like a big change, I mean, cancer diagnosis, illness, caretaking, death, loss, moving. I don't
Mhm.
think at the time I realized how
Mm.
impactful all that would be. Like that's a lot of stress. And
Mhm.
even moving when it's good is stressful. So I just think
Mhm,
after all that, my life is starting to feel very stable again, which is good. But
Mhm.
my anxiety can come in where I know what change can feel like, and I don't want it to change again. And right now I have my mom and I have David here, and I know that's not gonna last forever. Like, I will go through another season of change. And so
Mhm.
I just have to really focus on consciously staying in the present and enjoy those gifts instead of being
Yeah.
afraid of losing those gifts, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, so I think that's where my restlessness comes in. It's like I feel settled, but I don't know how long it's gonna be, you know? How long am I settled?
Mhm.
And that's just my craving for certainty and stability, you know?
Mm.
So,
Mhm.
I don't know if anybody else thinks about that thinks that way, but I tend to think about things I could lose. And
Yeah.
maybe that's just comes after John, I don't know.
I don't know if it's a phenomenon or not, but I feel like if you've been anxious and under stress for a while, and then that stress is removed, you aren't used to not feeling anxious, so you can almost feel anxious about
Attach it to something
not
else.
feeling anxious. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you're so used to living in that state, and
Mhm.
it's almost feels like there's something wrong.
To
Well,
not
I
have
should
it, yeah.
at least be worried about something right
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I feel like I can sometimes fall into something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the ground is right now for me. Like, I'm not it's an unsteady season in so many ways.
Does
So,
it make you feel restless?
it makes me really count my blessings. It makes me really but I feel like any moment, like, I don't know what to expect.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
it's tackling fear, um, with faith. And then I feel like, am I a fool for having faith or am I afraid? Sometimes I don't know the
Yeah.
difference. Like, I feel like I can't see straight, but like so much is changing and I'm just not really sure what the future holds or what it's
Mhm.
going to look like.
Mhm.
Mhm. I think what we're all kinda saying is that we all like certainty.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
We all like predictability.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It feels uncomfortable to know that at any moment things can change.
Mhm.
Kinda like spring.
Right.
It could be a
Yeah.
beautiful day and then a not so beautiful
Mm.
day,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and you really can't count on it. It's not time to put our, annuals out yet because they
No.
will get frost and die. Like,
Yeah, it's not time to put your coat up. I did that last week and I had to get it out
Yeah.
today, you know? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just unstable. Like winds blow and they change directions and
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
I
Mhm.
think some things are spring bloomers, some things are summer bloomers, and it's not time yet. And some
Yeah.
things bloom in
Right.
the fall, and actually some things bloom in the winter. So,
True.
Alright, well, do you feel a cultural pressure for a fresh start each spring? Like, I feel a little bit of a pressure even just when we're like, "Let's do a spring episode." Alright, let me ramp up my spring feelings.
yeah.
One thing that's not hard for me to ramp up is spring cleaning. So I
Yeah.
Oh,
feel like I've already been doing a lot of
yeah.
that, and that is very refreshing for me. Like a few episodes ago, I talked about how my closets, I was just, throwing my Christmas decorations in with gifts and like winter coats and like just everything. And this week I actually got to go through a couple closets. And today I'm going to clean my glass lanterns on my porch. I walked in the other day and I thought, you know what? I think I'm probably supposed to be cleaning these. And I never have. And so I looked it up on YouTube and like there's just like you look around and you're like, "Oh, I think I'm actually supposed to maintain that." Spring is a great time to like
Mhm.
assess and think, what should I be doing to beautify or prolong
Mhm.
or maintain the things in my home?
Yeah. I don't really feel a cultural pressure for a fresh start like I do in January. That's when I feel that, New Year's.
Mhm.
But I do need fresh starts every now and then. So about March,
Yeah.
April, it's a good time for a fresh start. Spring kind of feels like a boost to me, mainly due
Yeah.
Mhm.
to the warmer weather and the time change. Those things boost my energy, my motivation. I get motivated to declutter and clean, all the
Well, you
stereotypical
can see
things.
the dust a lot
I
more.
was gonna
Yes.
say, have you guys noticed it seems like every year when daylight savings happens in spring, all of a sudden you see dust that you didn't see the day before. It's literally
Yeah.
the
It's true.
lighting is different, and you're like, "Huh, I didn't know that was
Well,
there."
you
Did I
get to
not clean all winter?
you get to see it longer is why, I guess.
It's like, "Oh, I didn't know. Look at I mean, yes."
Yeah, your
Yeah.
windows
Well,
and
and then there's the pollen and
Uh-huh,
cleaning off your porches and
uh-huh.
like there's just a lot of outdoor. Maybe you were really super focused on the inside because there wasn't that much to do outdoor, but now it's like your work is double.
Yeah.
Well, I guess none of us feel a super big cultural pressure then for newness in spring.
I think, Marie, I'm in the stage you probably were in when your girls were about to graduate from high school. Lots of like, oh, so what are you going to do? I'm like, nothing. I don't know. I'm working on, walking a long ways right now. That's my goal. But yeah, I think there's the questions, like everyone wants to know what to expect. And it's an excitement, like you're on the edge of an adventure. But yeah, it's like all these questions. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can really sympathize with the high school seniors where everyone's saying, well, what are you going to study in college? What are you going to do? Like, they don't really know yet. They might have a name of something, but they don't even know if they're going to like it.
I know.
And you don't really have an answer yet either.
No, I think it's a beautiful thing to get comfortable with the answer of, I don't know.
I say my major's undecided.
Undecided. Yeah.
That's true.
I'm just here for the party.
Yeah. I'm here for the whole experience.
Yeah. All right. Well, usually in our spring episodes, we do talk about our senses. And so we thought we would do a quick round robin of the senses and kind of list one thing for each sense that you are going through in spring. So in spring, tell me what is different about taste.
Well, I love to buy strawberries. I buy them all the time, but they're white and hard on the inside, and now they're delicious and red. So I appreciate that.
Oh, good.
I like all the fresh fruit because I still eat it in the winter, but it just tastes so much better right now.
Well, I agree with Julie. Definitely the fresh fruit. And then it just actually has flavor and finding tomatoes that taste like tomatoes.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's the same thing I put. I put fresher food.
Yeah.
The things that you buy are brighter, they're more colorful, they have more taste. It's just amazing. All right, what about what you see in spring?
Well, we've talked about the fresh flowers, and I particularly love what Trader Joe's does with their bulbs. They have daffodil bulbs, they have narcissus bulbs and hyacinth in just these cute little containers. And if you bring them home, they'll last like 2 to 4 weeks. So I'll usually repot them in some kind of blue and white bowl and just put them on my table as a centerpiece. And it might be like $5 to $8, but I don't know. I just kind of have those on in my house all spring.
Yeah, what I can see right now is color and new life in my yard every day. We've got azaleas blooming right now. Daffodils are out. I've got a couple of trees that are about to burst open. And the grass goes dormant here in the winter, so it turns like this beautiful champagne beige color. And right now it's speckled with green. So every day there's a little more green. And so every day I'm looking for it. So that's what I'm seeing.
Same thing with me. I'm loving the new spring flowers. People's daffodils have come up. They're planting a lot of pansies right now. It just seems like there's a lot of color, whereas on your walk before it might have been a little more drab. Now there's spots of color to look at.
Yeah.
All right. What are you hearing in spring?
Well, I took a evening walk after dinner in the daylight, which was nice.
Ooh.
And I heard the first frogs of spring. It was so amazing. I was like, I don't even know where they were. I wasn't near the lake. I don't know, but there was just frogs everywhere. I thought that was kind of a cool sound. And we've talked about this before, but I love a good playlist. And so I have a spring playlist, and I looked at it again, and it was from Michael and Smith, the Nester. She shared it on Spotify, so that it's actually her playlist. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow, I'm hearing lots of birds. I'm sure a lot of people are, but I'm loving sitting on my front porch swing and just closing my eyes and listening. There's so many, and it's just so beautiful. And I'm hearing them later at night now because it's staying, light longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that you cannot help but hear in our neighborhood when it hits spring is lawnmower equipment.
Yes.
I am hearing it. It's especially coming out this week. I even took my own lawnmower in to get the blades sharpened. It's like time to start lawn mowing this week, and you can definitely hear it.
I know. I looked at my grass and I thought, oh, I've waited too long. It's so thick and green.
Uh-oh.
Got to get out there.
Yeah. All right. What are you touching in spring?
Well, I thought about textures, and in my house, I kinda trade in the heavy wool blankets for, like, linen or light cotton throws. I change out pillow covers, just from things that are darker and heavier to lighter things. Small
Mhm.
changes, but it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought this was funny, but I'm touching grass. I'm getting outside, and as the grass turns green, I'm walking in it barefoot, which is one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, I am touching, like, the old leaves, the old grass clippings, getting all that up so that I can prepare to plant annuals in the dirt. It just feels really nice to I had to plant some grass in my yard because, I had a spot that needed some, so, I got, soil for that and then was spreading the grass seed, and, like, it just felt good to be doing some yard work. I was
Mhm.
enjoying that.
Mhm.
Alright, smell. What do you smell in spring?
Well, you know how I love smells and I love soap. So, the Myers soap, there's a lilac scent, and I had bought one bottle and then I could never find it again in the stores. Like you just can't find it. And even on Amazon, you can't buy it in bulk. I had to buy it one bottle at a time. But the lilac smell, I had never smelled a lilac until I went to Mackinac Island, and it's just
Mm,
heavenly. So now I have
Yeah.
all my soap bottles are lilac right now. It's a really, really good
good.
spring smell. 'Cause I think
Oh,
they just
wow.
bloom for a short time in the spring.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, as much as I am touching grass, I'm also smelling grass because lots of grass is being cut down here as well. And I love the smell of freshly cut grass.
Me too.
Mhm. I am smelling it's not the best smell, but I feel like I'm smelling it a lot this year in particular is people's mulch. And I was
Mm.
saying, is the mulch, like, more organic this year? Does it have, like, manure in it? It feels very
Mhm.
it, like, almost makes me sick to my stomach, and it's in a lot of different areas of the neighborhood, so I'm not sure. Am I more sensitive this year, or is the mulch more potent this year? I'm really not
I
sure,
can
but
smell it
I'm
now that you
smelling it
say
a
that,
lot.
Marie.
Yeah.
You are? You
I
are?
know
Okay, I'm
exactly
not
what you're
alone.
talking. We don't even use that kind of mulch down here. Everybody uses pine straw. But you say that in
Oh, yeah.
Tennessee, and it brings back all the memories. I could smell it.
Yes, and
Thankfully,
I'm
it
smelling it
fades.
in a lot of places.
Thankfully, it
Does
does
it?
fade,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Mhm.
anyways. All right, listeners, we would love to hear what you are doing in spring. If this metaphor of the gardening hit you at all for midlife, come and tell us your thoughts on Instagram, Midlife Matters Podcast, or email us at midlifematterspodcast@gmail.com. But before we go, we want to do I'm a Fan. All right, Julie, what are you a fan of this week?
I'm a fan of a sandwich that I made, and I think I had it 3 times this week already. Once, one day I had it for lunch and dinner.
Mm.
Oh,
It's
it's always a good sign.
and I just overheard at my drawing class, I literally just overheard someone talking about it. I wasn't even in their conversation, so I didn't ask about it. I just went home and got the ingredients and made it. It's grilled brie and pear on sourdough.
What?
So you
Grilled
take
brie and pear. That sounds
yeah, so
really
you take
good.
sourdough and I spread a little jam, like you could use fig jam. I just use those the Beaumont strawberry
Yes.
preserves. Spread that on, spread the
Mm.
brie on, slice the pears really thin, and then I put hot honey. Oh, because
Mm.
it's kinda sweet with the pear, and then the hot honey, if you put honey, it might just be too sweet. So the hot honey really, provides a good contrast, and then
Mm.
you toast that you grill that like you would a grilled cheese. I mean,
I can see
it
why
is
you had it 2
amazing.
times in one day.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Ugh,
like the taste of spring and summer right there.
yeah. I think you
Wow.
could probably add some sliced ham too if you wanted to, because there's no meat on there, not a lot of protein, but it's really good.
Mhm.
I even made it for somebody else. David
Wow.
loves it. He likes apples over pears, but I think either one would be good.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
kind of a cousin of
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
The pears are just probably a little
He just
softer.
likes the apples a little crunchier. Yeah. I'll include a recipe that I did find. It's not mine. I
Mhm.
think it
Okay.
calls for honey, and I just added the hot honey. And then, really, you could use any jam, like marmalade would be good, or I think it would all be
Mm,
good.
that does sound good.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, Mindy, what are you a fan of this week?
Ooh, I am a fan of a new vitamin C serum that I use on my face. It's by The Ordinary, and I actually got it off of Amazon. You can find it at Ulta, Sephora. But it's the vitamin C serum is just for brightening dark spots, sun damage, and things like that. The reason I was on the search for a new one, I was really happy with the one I was using by Tula, but the one from
Mhm.
Tula cost over $50. I was like,
Oh,
even though it
goodness.
lasts a long time, it's not, I
Mhm.
cannot keep spinning that. I was putting off purchasing it again. So I just went out there to try to find, what are people using that were using Tula? And I found this and I have been very happy with it. It's under $15. It lasts for a very
Oh,
long
that's a
time.
big difference.
Yes, and it's easy that you can just get it off of Amazon, and so it just comes like it's a little, dropper that you just put just a
Mhm.
little bit on each day, and so with
Mm.
being out in the sun a lot, it's nice to have a little serum to try to tackle that sun damage,
Yeah, that's really
so I'll share
good.
a link for
Yeah.
that.
All right. This week, I'm a fan of linen pillowcases. So I think last week I said I was looking at ways to lighten up my bed for summer, and I said I needed lightweight blankets. So I got like a linen bedspread, and then I linked to a linen throw. And now this week, I'm going to link to linen pillowcases. I've been using them as shams because I like to have the silk pillowcases for sleeping on, but I just kind of like how the linen sham looks on. And so, anyways, I'm going to put a link to those. I think I may end up trying out some linen sheets at some point. I don't know. I must be on a
Oh,
linen kick, but
okay, isn't that cooling, though? Like, it provides kind of a cooling effect
I
or
think it's
something?
supposed to be. I mean, I haven't been
Okay.
sleeping with it that long, but it's got to be cooler than what I was sleeping with. So.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
So I'll put a link to the pillowcases that I got, and if you wanna try out anything like that, try out something different for spring or summer, that might just be a little way to perk things up in your bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, you guys, I enjoyed talking about spring with you,
Yeah.
and look forward to talking with you next week.
Yeah. It
Sounds
was a
great.
cheery topic. Happy spring.
Yeah, happy spring.
All right, we'll
Right.
talk to you later.
Bye.
We're so happy you joined us today. You can find the show notes for this episode at midlifematterspodcast.com. Also, please tell a friend about the show and help them hit the free subscribe button on their favorite podcast app. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast. That's where we post pictures and stories about all the things we talk about in each episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.